What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to use the parking brake override if something is wrong with your 5th gen Ram truck and you can't shift it out of park. This will also apply actually for the 4th gen Ram trucks, the 13 to current classic body style. As long as you have the 8-speed transmission with the rotary dial, they're going to be pretty much the exact same steps. So just pay attention here. Very slight changes between the 4th and the 5th gen, but almost identical. So we're going to get started. Today, this is a 2019 Ram 2500 with the 6.4 Hemi. And when I go to try and start it, it, for whatever reason, doesn't start. So we got to get it into neutral so I can push it up to the shop. And even with your foot on the brake in the ignition and the accessory position, you can't rotate this. So we're going to show you how to release that today. All right, so the first step that we're going to do is you're going to need, obviously, if you're in a situation like this, you probably don't have any tools, so you can use your key or something like a flat blade screwdriver. On the 5th gen Ram keys, you're going to turn it on the side, locate this little silver button. You're going to push that in, and then you should be able to pull the key out of the fob like so. You can use the key again, like I said, or a little flathead screwdriver. Here's the 4th gen key fob. You just slide this little latch over to the side and pull the key out. So like I said, this is a 2019 2500, so it does have some of the interiors that are the same as the previous generation. But what we're gonna do is remove this panel right below the headlight switch. On my 2019 Ram 1500, I actually have like the remote or the power pedal adjustment here and a couple other buttons, but it should, on that panel that all those buttons are on, if you've got a 1500, there should be a little notch at the bottom of the panel. All right, so here's the dash of my 2019 Ram 1500. And as you can see, the panel that we had removed on the other truck did not have this. It was just a flat panel. Mine has the electronic parking brake and the adjustable foot pedals. It's actually the panel below it on this style. You'll actually just stick a little flathead in here and pop it down, and you can pull this off or just let it hang. But there is our mechanism on this setup. So it's just right below where it would be normally. But what I'm gonna do is just kind of carefully get in here like this without trying to scratch the dang panel like I almost did there. There's just 4 clips, I believe, that hold this on. Got one more. There we go. And now you should have access to this orange strap. It should be secured with this little tab. We're just gonna lift it up. We're not gonna pull it yet though, because what we wanna do is as soon as you pull this thing, the truck is gonna roll if it's on a hill. So if you're on a hill or anything, I definitely highly recommend, even if you're on flat ground, push the parking brake down. In the 19 and newer 1500 trucks with the electronic parking brake, as long as you can switch the ignition on, I recommend using the parking brake there as well. Because like I said, this thing will roll once we do this. So on the 4th gen Ram trucks, it's a slightly different setup, but pretty much the exact same. Motor City Mechanic has a video on the 4th gen trucks. If you're having trouble, I'll put his video in the description below if you want to watch that one. But what you're going to do is once the parking brake is set, on the 4th gens, it's going to have the same thing right here basically, only it's going to be in this location. And what you'll have to do is push, and in the 5th gens, you just lift up like that. So now once we've lifted this little metal pin, now we can go ahead and pull this out. You can't pull this out without lifting that pin. Same thing with the 4th gens. You're gonna use a screwdriver, or you can use your key again if you're in a pinch, and you're gonna slide that pin to the right and then pull at the same time. So as you see here, I'm gonna lift, and that will let me pull it out just a bit. Once you get it past that point, you don't need to hold it anymore. But now as soon as I go to pull this the rest of the way back, it's gonna put it in neutral. So I'm just gonna put my foot on the brake. I'm not gonna mess with the parking brake just because I'm on fairly flat ground. Foot on the brake pedal. I'm gonna lift up on that pin, pull out at the same time. There we go. And now you should be able to, once you pull it all the way as far as it goes and you release it, it'll stay out on its own. And then obviously make sure to release the parking brake before you try to push the vehicle once you get the truck into neutral. With the push foot style, you're gonna pull this lever to release the parking brake. And with the electronic style, you're just gonna push the button. And now if we push the ignition here, you'll see it's flashing and the truck will roll. We're moving right now. So, and then to get it back into park, you should just pull on it again and it'll release back to where it needs to go. But when you release this to put it back into park, make sure you let your foot off the brake slowly, because the parking brake pawl needs to engage just the same as if you put the transmission into park with the rotary knob. So once you've achieved that, you can go ahead and if you desire, you can tuck the strap back over this little nook. The cover is just held on with these 4 clips. Line these up with the slots in the dash and push it on, and that is it. All right, now if for some reason you don't have the tools required, or you just can't get that cable release to work for the parking brake for whatever reason up on the top side like you're supposed to do, this should be an absolute last resort option. And definitely make sure you're on flat ground with the wheels chalked and everything. You don't want to be driven over here. But what you can do is, after you've taken all safety precautions, this is at your own risk now, you can come underneath and you'll see the transmission right here, and there's a little rubber accordion boot. This is on the driver's side, and you'll notice there's a cable right here that goes to this boot, which is connected to a shift arm. That is the cable for the release that you'd be pulling on up on the dash. Okay, so what you can do is grab this arm and push it towards the front of the truck like this, and now the truck can roll. Now it's not going to hold it, you know, it's once you release that arm there, you just heard it lock back in. It's locked into park again now. So you'd have to, you know, have somehow a way to hold it, maybe with like a zip tie or a bungee cord or some sort of strap. Otherwise there's no way you'd be able to hold that and roll the truck at the same time by yourself. But that it just is one more way to release it if you're really in a bind. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more videos like this, and check me out on Facebook at Tony the Truck Guy. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
God.